Hey Chino, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So your new album Gore is coming out
Yes.
on the 8th of April, I think.
Yes.
Um, I think what's interesting is the contrast between the title, which is Gore, which is really like hard,
Ooh,
and
scary,
then the
seriously.
flamingo cover,
Yeah.
which is nice and cute, I think.
Yes.
Can you tell
I like
me?
to think of it as elegant. Yes.
Elegant, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, elegant.
But those two things definitely is some sort of like dichotomy, where that I think where you're going is represents sort of, to me at least, the music that's presented inside
Yeah.
that disc. I mean, it's it has a lot of that. I guess those two things are very different, and I feel like our music plays between these two sides of these emotions, I guess.
Okay. So you mean you like your sometimes like more poppy voice, and then the screams, which is a Deftones thing, but which I think I had the possibility to listen to Gore,
Yeah.
which I think is probably more than ever presented on there. Your voice is like
Awesome.
sounding like better than ever.
Oh,
No,
thank you.
it's not what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah.
more poppy than
Okay.
ever.
All right.
So and you told that like Morrissey was a big influence on your singing on that album.
Well,
or?
not so much that album, but I mean, in general, I think I've always sort of, I don't want to say cited him as an influence, but as someone who's inspired me throughout, I guess, my music loving career. I mean, since I've started liking music and got into music, is always somebody that I respect and listen to. As far as it's sounding like him. I don't, obviously not, and or my words being anywhere near as great as his. I don't think so. But the interview that you're referring to, whereas they asked me what I was listening to recently,
Yeah,
and
okay,
I said I was listening to a lot of Morrissey records, which I was, and I have been known to do. So, I'm sure it actually seeps its way into the sound somehow. But I try to make it not so intentional. I think
Yeah.
it's just like my voice is an accumulation of all the things that I love and have loved since I was a child. Pretty much, it's kind of shaped who I am as a vocalist, and some of those influences are extremely different.
Yeah.
From anything from Sade to Bad Brains to English pop music as
Yeah.
well. I mean, like I've always been into a different array of music, and I think I just that's my voice has become what it is, and I use that voice to react to what music is presented in front of me, and that's what you get.
Okay. So you don't try to sound like anything, but
I hope not. No,
Yeah,
I mean that's
yeah.
not my intention. At least is to like emulate anybody or any
Yeah.
certain idea.
yeah, I don't think that's what you do after over 20 years of,
Yeah.
of a singer. So don't get me wrong. Yeah, in another interview. Sorry,
Gotcha.
I read them all. You said that there would be or you recorded 16 songs, and
Yeah.
on the record that I have, there are only 11. So what's the plan for the other 5?
There's one other song that is finished that was intended to be the first song on the record, that when we actually mixed it and were sequencing it, we left it out.
Okay.
And the other four were not finished as far as
Okay.
vocal. I mean, all the music was recorded, but I never finished the vocals on them. What ended up happening is I think I ended up, just kind of gravitating towards the ones I was most passionate
Mhm.
about. And all our records have been 11 songs. We've never made it anything more than 11 songs. This record, we were going to do 12 songs because it was hard to choose between, the last one that was going to get cut, but eventually decided to cut one song. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel also that less is more sometimes. Like
Mhm.
with any record, I think after 45 minutes of hearing my voice, I mean, or anybody's
Okay,
voice, it's
yeah.
like, it's a pretty long journey, but I feel like it definitely is a journey. The record that we made is intended to be listened to from the first song to the end, you know.
Okay.
And I feel like it sort of, you know, takes you on some sort of journey.
So there is like a concept behind it, behind something that binds all the songs
Yeah,
together.
not a specific concept,
No.
I would say, but definitely, I mean, it feels cohesive to me as a cohesive piece of work. We didn't go in with any sort of like intention of or preconceived idea of what we were trying to create, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting what happens when Stefan, Abe, Frank, and Sergio and myself put ourselves in a room and make noise and react to each other's noise, and create songs out of that noise. And you know, it's kind of it's an organic experience of how we've been doing it, at least for the last few records, and this one is really no exception to that. It's just that's what it is. But there's no underlying theme as well as anything. But one thing that I did do is after we written all the songs that we're going to put in the record, I actually made a sequence. And early on, before we even mixed the record, I made a sequence, and actually even before I recorded my vocals on it. So I recorded my vocals in concession, or like as far as you know, started with the first song, second song, third song, and I sang the record in that order. And to me, it feels very, you know, there's dynamic. It feels like there's it starts here, you know, it goes here. There's peaks and valleys, and sort of like a script of some sort. You know, there's this, even though there's not a literal story that's being told, it feels like a journey. Okay. Like I said, that starts here and ends here, and it keeps you interested the whole way. You know, there's no part of the record, as far as I'm concerned, or at least not as far as I'm concerned, but me as a listener, that I feel like I want to skip.
Okay,
so
that was important.
I'm pretty proud of that.
So is this something to do with, I guess, the last two records you did over a shorter period of time, and this one you had more time and space to do it.
Yeah.
And that's something that came out of it, that you had more time to think about it.
Yeah.
And
in retrospect, yes. I mean, I notice it now. I mean, we didn't necessarily try to make the record over a period of time because of that, because of the artistic side of it. We tried to take our time doing it because we just wanted to enjoy life as well as, you know, make art. It's like the last two records we made in such short periods of time, where we just like, we got to finish this. Let's start here. This is our end date. We have a deadline, and we just need to do everything in here. And although we had a good time doing it, I think, you know, at this point in our career, we don't need to be in a rush to get something out. Like, we're going to lose our fans, and people are going to forget about us, and we need to like hurry up and just do it. We really wanted to like be human beings and be at home and playing with our dogs, and, you know, and then just enjoying life and cooking dinner for our families and doing whatever it is we do at home, and then be excited to go in the studio with our friends and make a bunch of noise for 10 days and then go home and, you know, be normal again, and then go back in there and, you know, be a nutty professor for a week. You know what I mean? It was like, it's the, you know, the balance of all that stuff is kind of, you know, what keeps it interesting.
Yeah, so sure, your life influences the music you make, and if you're more laid back, then okay, I get it.
Yeah, we're all old men now. We're like 40 in our mid 40s, so like, you know, we have to get like take time off our knees.
Okay, so that's with, if there's a next album, you will do it the same, basically.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, maybe we'll do it in 1 week, like
okay.
and you know, but I don't know. It was just the way this one worked out for us, and it did. It worked.
Okay, so it's good to have that freedom, because you could have, I guess, with the master and the mixing, you went back to Matt Hyde before I don't know to which one you went, but
yeah, we did. Well, Matt mixed it in the beginning. He had recorded. He was there when we were writing the songs. He was there when we recorded them, the music. He was at my house when I demoed the vocals out.
Okay.
He was at the studio when I recorded my vocals. He was, you know, and then he went right into mixing the record, and he was like very much just like engulfed in like everything, every part of it. But we'd always had an idea that, hey, we want to try to get this person or that person to mix it and experiment with that type of stuff. So we sent him, we sent the record out to a couple different mixers and had mixes done. And although that some of them are great, some greater than others, but at the end of the day, there was some things, nuances that weren't as present in the mixes because they weren't there. Those people weren't there during the inception of these songs, or a lot of these little things that we were just used to that weren't there, and we were very, we didn't want to lose a lot of that stuff, whatever. So we ended up going back to Matt, and at that point it was great because Matt, he'd got a chance to step back from the record for a minute and look and come at it from a different perspective, yet know where everything's at. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like when you record something on one of those huge, boards, you know where everything's at. You know what I mean? As far as and then in all those tracks, you know. So he was very close to it, and it took him a week and he nailed it.
Okay.
So at that point, so it added another few months onto the time frame of the release of the record. I think initially we intended on having it out in November or something.
Yeah, I guess
something
18th of November or something.
Yeah,
like that.
sometime last year, whatever.
Yeah.
But so it pushed it back a little bit to this year. But we decided that we were going to, set it up properly and do the proper press. Come here, talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And vibe out, and then put it out. And that's
And
what we're
then
at. And that's
go on tour.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Okay.